Hi wrestling fans, thanks for clicking on the dreaded D-Rose report. Bet you didn't know that, did you? Alright, what do we got today? Former WWE Women's Champion Candice Michelle has posted a blog that on her official website stating to fans about her pregnancy. Pregnancy's going well, she says. There's approximately 10 weeks to go. Before what? Apparently, I love this stuff. I always told you I like to get back on here whenever somebody does some stupid stuff. Well, I love this guy. Anyway, apparently WWE Hall of Famer, the Iron Sheik, was arrested last week while boarding a flight on AirTran from Las Vegas, reports F4W Online. Anyway, the story goes that the Sheik got belligerent with the flight officials after they found alcohol in his bag. He was lucky they only found alcohol. I don't know where this other stuff is, but oh man, I hope somebody caught that on tape and puts it on YouTube. Man, I love that stuff. He's crazy. Anyway, Associated Press has published another article looking at the cause of Umanga's death. Anyway, the article states that Umanga's death was caused primarily by a combination of painkillers, tranquilizers, and muscle relaxers, which we knew that, but also notes that hypertensive cardiovascular disease was a contributing factor. WWE.com announced that the cast of the upcoming MacGruber movie will host Raw on April 19th from East Rutherford, New Jersey. The hosts will include SNL stars Will Forte, Kristen Wiig, as well as actor Ryan Phillippe. Anyway, the stars in the show, well, some of the stars in the movie that's coming out, MacGruber, is Jericho, Big Show, MVP, Mark Henry, the Great Khali, all have supporting roles in the comedy, which hits the theaters in the United States on May 21st. So, anyway, I guess they're keeping their Raw hosting thing going, and I don't know. You know, before I forget, WWE's Monday rating was down like 0.3 or something like that. One of the reasons I think it was actually down 0.3, nothing to do with the TNA. TNA may have brought some over to the Spike TV, but I believe it was down because I thought Chris Angel did a horrible job. I really do. I didn't like the way he, I love him. Love the show, and you know, some of the stunts he does is fantastic. But on there, man, it was all real sedate and pulling Lynn out of his eye or whatever he did. That was all right. But the other stuff, rather see that in Vegas. And when he announced the people coming up to the ring, it could have been anybody. It could have been somebody from the front row did that. So anyway, I was not impressed with that at all, and he was no draw. I don't think to WrestleMania with the wrestling crowd. Wrestling Observer Newsletter. The top matches advertised for the Raw tour after WrestleMania includes. Now this gives you a little bit of insight, maybe what's going to happen at WrestleMania. Triple H and John Cena versus Sheamus and Big Show. That's kind of strange. As well as Christian versus Randy Orton. That's a little different. Triple H versus Orton and Cena versus Sheamus is advertised in some cities. Anyway, top matches advertised for SmackDown events is Chris Jericho versus Edge, Rey Mysterio and Kane pairing up again, versus CM Punk and John Morrison. I think that's an odd team. So something must be going on there. Somebody must be turning not face. Anyway, Edge versus Rey Mysterio versus Punk, and Kane versus Drew McIntyre. Some of the things that's coming up after WrestleMania. Advertised anyway. It could all change. WWE's website had 13.3 million viewers or visitors for the month of January. This would be among the lowest in years. WWE's shop website averaged 581 orders per day in the same month. Tells me people just not, you know, just still economy's not back where it is yet, or where it should be. WWE showed WrestleMania Recall on Raw this week of Bill Goldberg, if you notice that, or remember that, pinning Brock Lesnar in 2004 as a way to plug Steve Austin's guest host gig. But the company's actually been talking about Goldberg and trying to get some kind of a relationship going with him. Vince, you know how to get the relationship going, don't you? They realize he won't come back to wrestle, but they're thinking of some sort of a Legends deal, you know, to include his likeness in video games and things like that. Goldberg also could be a possibility for next year's Hall of Fame in Atlanta, since they're running low on mainstream eventers to induct. They're not running low. All they got to do is talk to Savage. And I think Ultimate Warrior could be the main draw for WrestleMania this year, rather the Hall of Fame. Man. Well, they usually show up at WrestleMania too, some sort. Hulk Hogan said to have enjoyed the segments on Impact last week where he portrayed as someone who was old and shouldn't be wrestling anymore. He did a hell of a job too, I think. So anyway, the word is that Jeff Hardy signed a contract with TNA over a week ago, I guess. Details of the deal is unknown, but TNA officials reportedly wanted around 100 dates of Hardy over the next 12 months, meaning that he would be working some house shows. Shannon Moore also signed a deal with TNA after Hardy did, and there was talk of using the two as a tag team to start off with, but it doesn't look like they're going to go in that direction. WWE creative team is in favor of new pay-per-view schedules since there are less events to worry about writing for anyway. What I got here? 6 minutes. Time flying. Word is no Hall of Fame announcement was made on this last week's Raw, which I thought that was odd. There's still about 3 names to be announced, and one of them being Stu Hart. Anyway, the deal with Brett and Vince and Steve Austin on next week's Raw, probably they'll announce one then, which it could be old Warrior. They're keeping it quiet if it is. While it's scheduled that WWE and Warrior may have agreed to something recently, though, the Warrior is not one of the names scheduled to be announced so far. The only thing known about the remaining names is they're not names that would be expected. Well, John Cena, Triple H, Edge versus Batista, Sheamus, Jericho is being advertised for the Raw in Phoenix the night after WrestleMania. Taker and Edge versus Chris Jericho, CM Punk is being advertised for a SmackDown taping the next night after in Vegas. There's also an official preview of WWE's upcoming DVD Undertaker's Greatest Matches coming out. It says, a little bit of a caption, that he is the most anyway, let's see, what are they talking about here? I done lost my place. Well, anyway, they're talking about the casket matches, the deadlift matches, Hell in a Cell, last rides, body bag matches, boiler room brawls, concrete crypts, other numerous bouts is going to be on this DVD. I'm just wondering, is there going to be any blood shown there? Or we can't handle that anymore. We have to have it whitened out. Word is from within WWE that the winner of this year's Money in the Bank match will cash in the shot sooner than usual, possibly even that night. The decision will most likely depend on what they plan to do with Money in the Bank pay-per-view in July. And what's an unfortunate coincidence is the wives of both Charlie Haas and Paul Burchill are expecting children, which are just since their husbands have been released. So they're going to have to hit the road on some independent routes. Alright, the Reshlicious character Paige Webb is actually WWE's Serena Deeb before she joined up with WWE. Just thought I'd bring that up if you heard anything about her. WWE's creative team is said to be much less stressed out for WrestleMania this year than they were last year. WWE is pretty much stuck to the original direction WrestleMania this year, instead of doing a bunch of exceptions. So the wonderful creative team, it didn't know they had one. Hey, before I get my ass in any trouble, I better get off of here. Hey, thanks for clicking. I gotta go. If anything comes up, I'll be on here again. I gotta go.